Let me see if I can summarize some of the concepts I express. I personally don't want to blame an optometrist for the situation where my refractive state is slightly negative. I want to be responsible for that. Where does that come from? In science, it comes because of the child's nose on the page habit. It comes from nothing else and nowhere else. I take the broad view that all eyes are dynamic, at least in the range of, let's say, plus 1.5 to minus 1.5. They're all normal, not desired perhaps, but the box camera picture that is taught in medical school is what determines that every refractive state is an error or defect requiring medical attention. I object strongly to that presentation of the behavior of all normal eyes. This does result in conflict of motive, interests, insight, and long-term prevention. We should at least face that much of a fact. And the fact that no one with a medical title wants to help you with prevention when you're at 2040, 2050, or even 2060. That is the reality of that box camera picture, and people who are taught it, memorized it, and believe it to the hilt, even though it has never been proven in science. So let's see if I can summarize some things to separate pure medical from science. Prevention is not easy, and recovery from 2040, 2050, and 2060 will never be easy and cannot be prescribed. As I reported on a study of the normal eye in my context, simply by doing close work, the normal eye takes on a negative status. And it does this a steady 0.5 diopter per year. For children, it's minus 2/3 diopter per year. But you're addressing the reason for this, which is the kid's habit. And the kid's habit can't be controlled by anyone medical. Only you could do that. And the children don't want to be interfered with, which basically means you can't have prevention with children. If a person's old enough and mature enough to understand this, in high school, entering a 4-year college, and is having a hard time reading a 2040 line, then he needs to start understanding these issues. Let me cover what I consider the most important excessive action. That's astigmatism. Now, the Army doesn't, or Air Force doesn't require any astigmatism correction up to 1.5 diopters. This means that won't prevent 20/20. Only a negative state of the normal eye will prevent 20/20. So when I measure spherical, which makes it relatively simple for me to do it, and you see me doing it. Now, if I have a positive state, my eyes are not defective. This is a language problem with that box camera picture of the eye. It is simply wrong. For extremely sharp vision, your refractive state must be positive. That's why I can't say it's a defect or an error. 2 instruments, and I'll post a video. An ophthalmoscope is a device used to look at the back of your retina, back of your eye, the fundus. And that you need the medical expertise. But this exam, if it doesn't produce any medical problems, you should be told this. And I would not want anybody to do anything if they thought they had a medical problem. And in honesty, somebody's medical must tell you this. He sees no problems. This is to try and get a refractive state in a reasonable manner so you can personally take a responsibility. The other is probably a badly named device, a retinoscope. That sounds like it's a device to examine your retina, but it's not. It's a way of determining the refractive state of your normal eye. I'll post a video on that one also. When I make a measurement, and I know how to do it, it's going to be objective. So when I put up a Snellen, use a trial lens on myself, I'm objective because I believe it and I know what I'm doing, and I'll repeat it endlessly, and I will get it right. I can measure my refraction to 1/4 of a diopter, which would be reasonable. I want my refractive state to be positive by about 3/4 of a diopter, again self-measured. With a retinoscope, that requires real skill to get any accuracy. Typically, they will paralyze the eye with a drug and then measure it, or ask you to look in the distance, which is a poor way to do things, and make an estimate of refraction. The final analysis, though, you can do a better job yourself. If you know what you're doing, you take time to do it. Last thing is so-called autorefractors. I think they're very poor, whatever numbers they happen to spit out. You're much better using a Snellen and your own test lenses to determine your own refraction. Now, this is a major thing with you, and as an issue, you'll have to decide for yourself. I asked my sister, I didn't want my sister's kids becoming hopelessly myopic. I really did not want that. I learned from Jacob Rafelson about the plus lens, and that was effective at about 20/40, 50, 20/60. And he said in an extremely strong way, the public will be always hostile towards any prevention or any optometrist who advocates prevention. It's 100% right, which is the line that separates science from optometry, with no blame to be attached to optometry. It's just, I must do it myself. I just dreamed of, if I had just been taught to use the plus properly when I had 20/40, I would have preserved my vision through the school years and had 20/20 after college. But that would have put all technical and engineering responsibility on myself to start and continue wearing the plus through the school years. Now that is science and not medicine. If you ever make a choice, then plan to do this before you get any deeper than about 20/40 or 20/50. What you decide to do entering four-year college is going to be exclusively your responsibility. But the line is drawn between what is medicine, which I don't deal with, and science and engineering, which is my interest and method of teaching things. Hope you make the right choice in this before you get any deeper than 20/60. Thank you.